check to see if I'm on. We're burning the midnight oil because we have breaking news. We have breaking news tonight. So let me make sure that everything's working. Yeah, everything looks like it's working okay. All right, so sorry that it's so late, but we have breaking news, and I heard that in El Paso, they have a new leader, a new DEA in charge, um, coming out swinging. So let's pray that she will do some good things for El Paso, um, in drug busts, right? In drug busts, because we know that Richard was definitely reporting on illegal activity, and in within Fort Bliss. And I want to make it very clear too, um, that when we say that Richard was reporting, we believe that he was reporting before the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting. Okay? Before it. We have intelligence that is, and this is not the breaking news, this is just something that I wanted to clarify on, the evidence that we have, the evidence that we're getting in, the intelligence that we're getting in, that he was shaking things up before the Walmart mass shooting. Now, that's very, very important in the timeline of everything. And of course, he came to visit us in after that happened in August, and he went back and he was engaged in lots of phone calls, with authorities, Washington, D.C., FBI, Houston, and more, and more. Just so many phone calls. So, and then, of course, he was then a witness. And that is why, the criminals had to get a plan together to smear him and to discredit him. And this is not just Richard, this is not just a one off thing. This is something that is their mode of operation all the time. And I never really realized it to this degree. But it really makes you discern and question and scrutinize, um, any claims on people. It makes you say, well, wait a minute, where's the proof? Where's the proof? And it's so great that we live in this country that it is our law that you are innocent until proven guilty. I've never appreciated that so much in my life as I do now, because realizing that there are agents, that there are plants, that there are criminals, that their mode of operation is to smear whistleblowers, to smear witnesses, to tamper with evidence, to tamper with witnesses, to tamper with witness statements, to statements like Rob's statement in Mexico was tampered with. We're dealing with that. That's one of the issues, and that they will intimidate witnesses, that they will tamper with witness, statements on paper, that they will, this is why it's such a big deal with DA Bill Hicks tampering with his timestamp on his statement of officer, which is the anti bribery statement that he is required to sign before he takes the oath, before he acts as the district attorney for El Paso. And, we have evidence that he is suspected of tampering with his timestamps. And this is not even the breaking news. I haven't even gotten to the breaking news. But this is very important because there's so many things going on in the news today. And Bill Hicks was in the news today. And of course, we have in our open records proof that it seems like he was even spying on the district attorney's office before he even became district attorney with Justin Underwood and Bob Moore. Well, sorry, with employees in there, and then colluding with Bob Moore and Justin Underwood on researching how to unseat an elected official. This is election tampering, which is also a huge crime. There are so many crimes in this. And then, to see that he wasn't even paying his taxes, that he wasn't really qualified to be a district attorney. Um, I don't think compared to other lawyers. And then today to know so many things about him that he was even I think found guilty. I think he was found guilty. At least he was accused. And of course, in this country, we're innocent until proven guilty. But I think he was accused. I mean, found guilty on Barrentry. And, so he's manipulating. And of course, I can tell you right now, he has been manipulating with the cases, right? With the cases, with these murder cases, with the Walmart mass shooting that happened on August 3rd, 2019, right? You would think that that would be lickety split, but no, that's a gravy train coming in for so many. And speaking of gravy trains, and of course uh, he is accused. We're accusing him of tampering with Richard's case. So with the whole money situation, he was in I wrote it down because I don't know um, the actual word. Let me see in my notes here. I want to make sure I got um, the group that he was talking to. The group he was talking to. Did I write it down? Yes. The Commissioner Court. Okay, so here it is. So, because it was in the news today, and people of El Paso, I know you're very, very busy, um, and we shouldn't have to be doing the oversight. Where's Veronica Escobar? Right? Where is Ted Cruz? Where are the officials that are supposed to be doing the oversight and scare the hell out of them so bad that they mind their business and they dot their I's and they cross their T's because we're paying them big bucks and giving them beautiful buildings and parking lots and travel money and everything so that they will pursue justice, right? That they will serve justice in our community. That's the whole point. And yet we don't have the oversight. We have to do it ourselves. So here we are. I'm going to try to help out a little bit and give you just a quick overview of what happened today because Bill Hicks showed up in front of the commissioner's court today. And I hope I get this right. I'm not a lawyer. But he was asking for money. He was not, hey, I need some money for a lawyer. I need a money for a lawyer because the ACLU is not happy with me. They're suing me, so I need the El Paso people to pay for my lawyer, to pay for my representation, to pay for my little personal defense here against the ACLU, and that's about $100,000. Come on, you can pull it out of the well. He wanted the money, and they were like, "No, we're not going to give you the money. We're not going to give you the money." And and then he got like I guess his mama didn't tell him no before because he got threatening. But then when, okay, well, then I am going to take it from mental health, or I'm going to take it from the, I think he called it forfeiture funds. Um, and the commissioner's court was like, "Are you threatening us? Are you threatening us, Bill Hicks?" So, yeah, that sounds like a threat, right? You want to use taxpayer? We give you everything, and you mess up, and now you're being sued, and now you want $100,000 to cover your defense when you have been keeping our murder cases in pieces, and you can't keep your team working to pursue justice, to serve justice. You have Loretta Lynn Hewitt, an amazing attorney, put her uh, resignation in protest because you're playing politics, because you're like giving the exclusive to El Paso Matters. Please do not advertise with El Paso Matters. Do not advertise. Who's those advertisers again? Um, yeah. Anyway, I will mention them, and I'm going to try to write them. Maybe my husband will write them. But I think that that is really very arrogant. It's like a corrupt arrogance from Bill Hicks to want the El Paso people to pay $100,000 so he can have a lawyer, so he's not sued by the El Paso people. Um, yeah, it's maybe we should call ACLU here and you know, uh, let them know what all is going on with Bill Hicks because he is up to no good. He's a very bad man, y'all. Very bad man. So let me get more in the center here. Yeah. Yeah, he's up to no good. And, to me, knowing everything that we know, I would say that uh, he needs to put in his resignation letter. That's how I think after everything we know and all the proof that we have with the I think he even needs to be arrested for tampering with government documents, with timestamps. And I'm a math teacher, right? Timestamps are important. And I love history. Timestamps are important. Thank thank you God for creating the clock in the heavens. Because when you know the clock in the heavens, when you know the transits of the planets, when you know the eclipse cycles, when you know the lunar cycle, which is a metonic cycle, when you know the solar cycle, when you know uh, history books, the timestamps are part of determining what time is. And, thank you, Lord, for making it untamperable when it comes to your heavens. But, we are the vice regents, right? Uh, we're supposed to take care and be accurate and be honest with our documentation. And when someone like Bill Hicks is, working for Purchase Funeral Homes and he has conflicts of interest and this might influence him as a DA, right? And moving into the DA position, and then he doesn't sign his anti-bribery and his statement of officer before he takes his oath of office, which makes it illegitimate. He's illegitimate. He didn't do it. And are we going to stand for that kind of corruption, that kind of dishonesty in the district attorney's office? I mean, that's a big deal. Very, very big deal. Just like, we cannot stand for the dishonesty on the bench, right? With these judges, for Judge Madrano to sit there like a statue and not do anything when he is given proof, video proof, that the gag order was broken over and over again, and he just sits there. Something's going on. Something's going on behind the scenes. It really seems like the bench is compromised. It's very clear, and all through our son's case, and I haven't even given you the breaking news. Maybe I should give you the breaking news right now and talk about our son's case. And I want to keep track of the stories that I'm telling, because everything is so connected. Because from the day one, it has been dishonesty, not calling us like we should, smearing Richard, which has been debunked and debunked and debunked. There's He is so clean, and there's this attempt to smear him even now, that we it's like, well, give us the proof. Give us the proof. We've gone to the FBI database. We've gone to everything, looked at every one of his videos, everything, and there's no proof. And the 780 pages, there's not one piece of corroborating evidence for any of the smearing that they have given Richard. And they still have in there that he crossed the border into Mexico, when there's not one piece of evidence that he crossed into Mexico. And they want us to believe that he did that in an 18-minute time cycle with a weapon and bullets, that he went over into Mexico. It's the most insane, ridiculous thing when we have corroborating evidence that says he never went over into Mexico on that March 27th day. It's just the dishonesty, the tampering with Richard's investigation. And so now, of course, we have these new investigations popping up everywhere, from years of writing letters, years of collecting evidence, turning that in with the letters over and over and over again. We didn't get any response yet from Bob Moore of El Paso Matters or Angela Kachurga. They're still up to no good. They're very bad. Bob Moore is a very bad man. And because we have shared so much information, so much evidence, hard evidence with him, pleading with him, um, you know, way more, no less than 10 times. I can say that we've been pleading with him with evidence so that he would correct the statement, the story that's in his media, that is a political hack, a political attack machine, breaking and violating his 501c3 tax exempt status, right? So he's up to no good. And so the dishonesty is there. The dishonesty is in the unit on with the CID, with the command in the JAG, in the VA, at Park University. Um, you know, the dishonesty is everywhere. So we're starting to get, these investigations, which is the institutional support that we've been telling you that was coming, that we had, that we were getting confirmed with. And, it's rolling forth. The Lady Justice is fighting these wolves of corruption, right? That's what she's doing, and one by one, we are exposing them, and the investigations are coming through. And one of the very important ones is this board of inquiry that the military is having right now for Richard. And they had it last week. Um, and they were like, please give us information. Because, see, our son's investigation has been tampered with. We have an investigation into Marlon Soto, the dirty agent, the dirty CID agent that was in charge. We have an investigation into an ongoing investigation. They don't want it to be ongoing, but it is ongoing into Jessica Veltri, the senior forensic expert that never visited the crime scene, the binational crime scene. Um, and Bully tampered with a witness, bullied a witness. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's all going to come out. So, so we have these ongoing investigations, and we have a trust problem, right? And even Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe said to us during the meeting, we have a trust problem, and we're here to earn back your trust. And he's so evil, you know? I mean, he even admits that, and then he goes and participates in this fake stage task force find Richard Halliday with no op warrant. So this board of inquiry is really refreshing to see. It is um, a good step that the Army is taking to look into the status of Richard. Also, to know that Richard's investigation has been tampered with. So they are waiting. Well, we've turned in lots of information, and they've asked for even more now. So we are giving them more. We're giving them even more. And so just say prayers for that because they already had one and there was so much information. You can imagine how the piles of evidence that we have. And we just got some new evidence today, and that's the breaking news that we will be sharing with the Board of Inquiry. And but we're going to share it with you first, right? Because we think it's so important. Let me look at my notes because this is super important because there's a timeline in this, and it has to do with Dirty Agent Tavita Nusa. We are now in possession of a recording where uh, you know confirming and corroborating. There's this psyop going on within the CID with the rest of the law enforcement agencies, um, to say that we're just imagining this tampering of our son's investigation, that we're just imagining that there's a trust issue, right? That there's a trust issue that there's been so much meddling and this is a botched investigation because of the criminal network that Richard was trying to expose, that we have exposed, and that we have been collecting evidence for. So you know, what Richard died for, what Richard died for, we have continued his work in honor of his bravery, um, of his moral stand that he took when he saw Fort Bliss engaging in unlawful activities, lots of unlawful activities within of course, the CID and others that we're supposed to trust, and they became corrupt, and they, are in these positions like James Hart at the VA, like Leilani Hart sleeping with Tavita Nusa, like Dirty Agent Tavita Nusa, like Dirty Agent Marlon Soto, like um, and I'm should I call him dirty agent too? Dirty supervisory FBI agent Nieto, who has a conflict of interest with Angela Kachurga, who has a conflict of interest with a FBI man that walked into the Dollar General. His name is Nadal Bayim, who, here I am, I'm FBI, and the FBI, you can take down the flyers of Richard because we have found Richard's remains in Mexico. And then we call the State Department and they go, oh, yeah, they were looking for Richard's remains in Mexico. And then we're talking to the general, and the general's like, oh, yeah, um, we were in communication with the State Department looking for Richard's remains in Mexico. And also here on the Fort Bliss footprint, we're looking for Richard's remains. Um, so that all, and there's even more, right? There's even more to it. I have it all in my evidence packet for that. So, Richard's, including these these mortuary affairs, chief medical examiner autopsies, right? It's all in there. It's all in there. To we will hand them over. We'll get, we've already handed them over, and we'll do it over and over and over again. Write more and more letters, and now even to this board of inquiry, because we have to work with uh, the system, and the system is Lady Justice, and they can try as hard as they want to manipulate and tamper and act like wolves, send out the wolves, their plants, their agents, and everything like that. But Lady Justice wins. Okay? Lady Justice wins. And in this case, in honor of what Richard was doing, to continue what he was doing. Okay. And the same thing, and I want to say this too, to continue the memory and the bravery and the character, the beautiful character of Glendon Oakley Jr. Making those TikToks again and going through and listening over and over to what he was saying. What a beautiful person. It's like listening to Richard. What a beautiful person. And they took a stand. They weren't being selfish. He even said it. He said it, the Army even reiterated what my parents taught me, the selfless service. The selfless service. That came out of Glendon Oakley's mouth. And it was really, I just cry when I think about him and Richard and so many that take a stand. And we need to do this to continue that spirit, that wonderful spirit of justice, of a good moral world, a world that wants to be the Good Samaritan. Glendon Oakley was the Good Samaritan. He was the esprit de corps, and so was Richard, the Distinguished Honor Graduate. And so we want to continue that. So, absolutely. So, this breaking news is really, really amazing. And that's why we came on so late. I should turn on my light here. Um, we're burning the midnight oil. Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. But we have audio recording that corroborates that Tavita Nusa turned in his badge. We've been saying it over and over again. He lost his badge. Okay. We know that he turned in his badge before September 15th, 2021. Okay. So September 15th, 2021. So that is like a year after Richard went missing, a little more than that. But he might have lost the badge, uh, in August of 2021. But we know that he was doing some weird financial deals at the end of 2021. We know, yeah, that explains some people, y'all. Some people that don't like us because they're up to no good, right? They're up to no good. They're using their positions, they're using their licenses, to do things that are not upright, that do not help the community. You know, corruption, it really is uh, tempting. It's so tempting when we have so many taxes to pay, and the cost of living is so high, and all of that. But I'm telling you, from my own background, being German and all of that, corruption is it's such a slippery slope, and it just harms the community so bad. And you just can't go there. You just can't go there. Oh, I see a lot of comments. Let me. Uh, Anicia, thank you so much. Marian, what would you say if Richard is found alive? I would say allegedly. There's no proof Richard is dead. No, you're wrong. There's proof that he is dead, because I believe we have enough evidence to put Tavita Nusa in the same room when Richard took his last breath. Okay? That he was there, being in a room, being in a tactical move storage unit. Um, we have that. And, because you have to say, and I'm glad you're bringing this up. Um, if you don't believe many of these reports, etc., we believe Richard is dead. I believe Richard is dead. Um, and not only that, because if you only knew what we went through, if they're going to do that to us, who did not whistleblow on them, who is not in the army any longer. My husband was in the army for 30 years. Um, and they have power over you when you're in the army. That's why when you want to do a congressional, like this soldier that wants to do a congressional and they deployed him, um, they, they have power over you. They can absolutely retaliate against you. They can weaponize the system against you. And they have. They've been weaponizing the system against our soldiers. They did that with Glendon Oakley Jr. very quickly. Very quickly, he went through hell. And they did that to Richard. And what they did to us, I just can't even, I don't even tell people. And if they are going to be so dishonest and so disrespectful, so hateful, absolutely hateful. And where was his captains? I never met Captain Park. Why not? He just wrote me a letter. Why wasn't he there? Why wasn't he brought there? Why wasn't Captain Yoshida? Where were the first sergeants? I never met First Sergeant Jay Paulin in real life. Why not? He should have been there. Okay? Because he is directly involved in this. Okay? And if he doesn't come clean, he's in really big trouble. Jay Paulin is in very big trouble. There are so many. Tavita Nusa is in very big trouble because Lady Justice wields a sword, holds the scales, and no matter how much those wolves circle her and try to nip at her heels, she's no lamb. She's no lamb, she's no buttercup, and she will have victory. And so our audio that we have lots of records. And as hard as it is for us, where is Richard? 3.5 years. Where is he? There's circumstantial evidence, there is hard evidence, and there is irregularities. And we know from a few other cases, like Natalie Holloway's case, they never have found her body, never. But they know that Vanderlaan, what was his name, um, murdered her. Finally, finally, it took a long time for those wolves were circling. um, they were circling. He was one of them. Uh, but Lady Justice took him down, and he's in prison now. So, and that's without finding her remains. So we know because of 3905 Bliss Avenue, 3905 Bliss Avenue. Let me tell you, I'm going to get me a gold necklace that says 3905 Bliss Avenue, 3705 Bliss Avenue, Van Buren Avenue. We know by these people's addresses. We know by Dreams Cabaret. Dreams Cabaret is a big one. It's almost like, well, 3905 Bliss Avenue is, but Leilani Hart is totally connected to Dreams Cabaret with others. And Felix Valenzuela is absolutely connected to Bliss Avenue with others and representing. Okay, so there's so much that we have um, when it comes to addresses and phone numbers and license plates. License plates, yeah. Because sometimes, yeah, I can't say more because it might give away one of our investigative tactics. License plates are a big deal, right? Because you can see who's in front of what building at what time. Um, so yeah, Jay Pollin's in big trouble. Tavita Noosa's in big trouble, and I believe he had absolutely a hand in those last minutes in Richard's life. And we have, witnesses, right? I hope he's not dead so that he can be given the opportunity to say what happened. Absolutely. And the thing is because this involves the Fort Bliss Command, the Fort Bliss CID, the El Paso FBI, uh, the DES Thomas Kane, that's the chief of security of Fort Bliss, that it involves UTEP, that it involves El Paso Matters, that it involves the DA's office, that it involves the AG's office there in the Western District of Texas, Jaime Esparza, Bill Hicks, Jaime Esparza, um, Yvonne Rosales um, was, we have confirmation that she was moving these cases forward. And that's why they undid her. And if I was an El Pasoan and they meddled with the election like El Paso Matters Bob Moore did with Bill Hicks, with um, Justin Underwood, election meddling, the first female district attorney that happens to be a Latina, right? That wins that position, and they collude together, conspire together, research together, even present how to unseat an officer and the bullying and the harassment they did to get her to resign in duress. Yeah, I wouldn't be too happy uh, with that crew there in the DA's office. Nope. Uh, and that's all coming out. And that's just a little part of what's all wrong. There's more. So, Mary and Jay, beloved, we wish Richard was alive. Yes. We pray Richard was alive. Yes. Richard is our hero, never giving up faith and hope and justice. Absolutely, Anicia. Um, absolutely. I don't know who's laughing. It's not funny. It's been absolutely hell. But you see, we've known for a while. We've known when Yoshida was crying. And I'm like, why is he crying, dear? He's crying. Why is he crying? Oh my gosh, things must be really bad. He must be dead. I mean, why would a captain cry if one of your soldiers goes AWOL? You'd be more like, doggone it, your son went AWOL, right? But that's not how it happened. It was, ooh, you know? We're going and meeting with Command Sergeant Major Jakovitz, and he is a wreck. He's shaking like a leaf at fall on a tree, like, shaking. And I'm like, oh, wow, something bad. Something bad, you know. And they're not bringing us his unit to talk to his unit? If Richard went AWOL, they would march them in and they would have found him by now. They would have found him. But no, they manipulated us. They lied to us. They kept people from us. They didn't call us. There was so many irregularities. It's piled up in another file of irregularities. And they were mad. They were mad. I mean, they were angry. And then we got bullied and we asked for help about being bullied and harassed. And the command said, oh, we're not saying anything. We're happy you're being bullied. You need to be bullied. You need to be bullied. Why? Why do we need to be bullied? We want to know where our son is. And then they start having these other sites that steal our identity, that make fake profiles and harass us and have different sites, and we're letting them know, and they're letting that happen. And then we find out that it's our casualty assistance officer doing it. Our casualty our casualty assistance officer was TRADOC, was asymmetric warfare, and he was pulling that stuff on our case because he accidentally left his footprint, his fingerprint in the Google Drive. And we're like, what's his name doing there on that stuff? And it led right to that. Then, all the phone calls, and we trace them back. We trace the phone calls that are harassing us, and they're leading they're leading to places that would just shock you. And we turn them in, and it's crickets. And it's crickets. So Richard was absolutely exposing. And I'll tell you some other intel that we're getting, that there is organ harvesting and selling. You have to understand that Tavita News's family is involved in mortuary affairs, that he also he's a surgical technician. He absolutely knows the human body. and his brother is mortuary affairs. They're, this is connected to 3905 Bliss Avenue, which, you know, um, through the legal channels and everything, is connected. Very strange ownership, okay? But we absolutely know that they got leases, Danae Katzen. And then Belen Rocha, at the beginning I was sent all these pictures of her in strip joints, and I'm like, that looks like Dreams Cabaret. That looks like Dreams Cabaret where Lilani was getting her mail. So, and another person that I haven't revealed yet, I'm not at liberty to say. I'm going to corroborate it, 5 times. Let's get evidence 5 times deep um, before I say it. So, you know, this looks very bad for Tavita Nusa. It looks very bad for Danae Katzen. It looks very bad for Belen Rocha. It looks very bad for Lilani Hart. It looks very bad for James Hart. It looks very bad for Dallas Hart and others. And, of course, Marlon Soto. And I believe that it looks very, very bad for Donna Martin. She absolutely needs to be arrested because she was in charge of the CID. She was the commander. She's the one that met us. She's the one that carried out the psyop of the task force find Richard Halliday without an op board to make us believe one thing, to fool us, to con us, to hoodwink us. The parents of the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. That's what she was trying to do. To the parents of the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. Think about that. That is like so disrespectful to the memory of Vanessa Guillen. To the crime that was perpetrated against her that took her life, that cut her in pieces and burnt her. And Richard is the first Vanessa Guillen, first absent soldier. And we believe he was dismembered after being tortured and put into different areas. And there's testimony that they used some kind of acid on him. Um, it's been living hell. And if you've seen pictures of my beautiful son, um, but I'm not allowed to be emotional, you see, because who's going to do the live streams? Who's going to do the Is the PAO going to do the live streams? Is Angela Kucherga going to do the live streams? Is Bob Moore going to do the live streams? Who's going to keep this case open and alive to the public? Who's going to, you know, do the investigation? Team Find Richard Halliday has to do the investigation. They have to organize everything. And there's no $100,000. I should ask Bill Hicks. Hey, Bill Hicks, you want to take money from the El Paso people from the what was that fund again? I wrote it down. Oh yeah, Sylvia's name here. These people are in trouble. The forfeiture funds. Yeah, we don't have a fancy building. We don't have a fancy parking spot. We don't have a big, team here. We don't have $100,000. So, he wants his privilege. He doesn't even want to call us, right? He doesn't even want to talk to us. He sends for months, for years. Now he comes out when we have all this evidence of his criminality and says, "Oh, I need to meet with you now." No, okay, let's meet. Yeah, we're very grateful to meet, but first you need to give us the open records that we've requested. Where are the open records that we've requested? The monies that, he was putting motions into the AG to say, no, no, don't give him that, don't give him that. Why not? The American people have the right to know where their money is being spent and how it's being spent. And he wants to use forfeiture funds or take away from mental health. He wants to threaten the commission in court to get the money to for his own defense. Wow. Wow. So, and I want to apologize to Marion. Um, we have guilty bullies laughing. You know, um, because after 3 years, I tried to stay pretty neutral, but I get comments and I get pretty defensive, and I need to just take it one comment at a time and not get defensive. So I can't get too emotional. I can't get too defensive because we have to stay objective. Because somebody might have come on here now, um, because if you know things and you're silent and things are breaking, and I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, next week, next month, in a year. I don't know. All I know is I never expected to get an audio of uh, Tavita Nusa lost his badge. And voila, we have it. Well, he turned in his badge. So that's very good. Um, that will go a long way. And, I can't. We were 3 months going to Juarez in El Paso looking for Richard. And we know our son. We know what we heard. We know what the evidence is saying. And here we are at 1,291 days. Is it 92 days? 92 days. Yeah, 1,292 days. And, you know, um, we're in the accountability mode. We're in the um, the reinvestigation for accountability mode because everything's breaking now, and we are so happy. There are, um, I would say, five investigations going on right now, and maybe more, and maybe more. I can't keep up with them all. Maybe, yeah, maybe six investigations going on right now with big institutional help. So, and we're still writing letters, more letters, and now with this new evidence, we'll write more letters, and um, that's uh, we're getting pretty proficient at that. With time, that's the one good thing is it gets easier to write letters. You get a system going. But I'm asking right now for letters to go to, and I was gonna, before I go, these advertisers for Bob Moore. Because, we have an intent to sue Bob Moore. And um, with, so if we have that, yeah, here it is. if we have that, you know that we have such damning evidence on Bob Moore and his violations of his 501c3, his involvement in election tampering, his involvement in obstructing justice in our son's case. It's so bad that we have an intent in there. And so we saw 5 advertisers with El Paso Matters, and we're asking that everybody call them, contact them, write them, and say, do not advertise with El Paso Matters. They are up to no good. They have violated their 501c3. Their stories are with unreliable sources. We've contacted him no less than 10 times, begging, pleading, giving him evidence, and there was nothing. So that's not that's not integrity. That's not media integrity. That's not journalistic integrity at all. And so, do you want to be associated with that? So we want to give a warning to these businesses because it's going to get ugly, and they need to be prepared because we don't want their businesses to be hurt by it. And that is the visiting angels. So visiting angels, please let them know to make other arrangements. Visiting angels, you can go to customer support at visitingangels.com. And then Mission Chevrolet, let them know at Mission Chevrolet. I think it's Jerry Slaughter at j.slaughter@missionchevrolet.com. Let him know. Do not advertise. Go find some other companies. But El Paso Matters, it's not good. You don't want to be associated with them. You don't want your business to be hurt by that. And we had enough problems with 2020 and the whole COVID mandate thing to hurt these businesses. So we don't want them to be hurt more. And that's why we're asking for you to contact them. This is not kind of revenge against El Paso Matters. This is caring about these companies that are going to find themselves, attached to the corruption that, let's say, the consequences that El Paso Matters corruption is bringing them. Okay? I think that's a good way to say it. So El Paso Community College, please let them know. I think it's on their website how you can contact El Paso Community College, or just share this video. Then Texas Tech Health Science Center. They need to be made aware of what's going on. Do not advertise. Find some other place to advertise that you will have a better association for your business. And Emergence Health Network, also Emergence Health Network. So thank you so much for helping us warn them about what's going on with El Paso Matters. So thank you everyone so much. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. We love you, and please share. Even go on TikTok and share. Go on Twitter, X. We're there to share. I'm just now starting to post things up more. We're at Rumble. We're on Telegram, and just trying to get out the message, keep Richard's case alive. And it's been working because now we do have solid evidence to drive our institutions to get justice for Richard. Thank you so much. And to protect, think about it, what's all going on. It's also to protect our future. So thank you so much. God bless you. And until tomorrow. Bye bye.